Can we bring in Brian Munz, please? Nino Niederreiter scored twice, and Connor Hellebuck stopped 21 shots to record the shutout as the Winnipeg Jets blanked Utah 3-0 Tuesday to win their fourth in a row and improved to an NHL best 12-1. Munzie, easiest question for you. I just want your take on the fact that on November 6th, the Winnipeg Jets have the best team in the NHL.
It's pretty remarkable, Rod. Good to catch up. It's obviously been a while. 24 points are locked into the standings right now that they're not going to give back, and they've been able to earn right out of the gate. So it's obviously been an exciting time. I've been to 3 games this year, and they are playing a fun brand of hockey right now to watch. There's lots of goal scoring. Connor Hellebuck or Eric Comrie have been really good in net. And it's got the city a buzz right now for sure. And I think everybody around the league is asking the million-dollar question right now. How are they doing it? And they're doing it by committee.
Yeah, they're a good team. This doesn't surprise me, but are they planning the parade?
No, I think there's probably more excitement about what they would hope to be a Grey Cup parade before a Stanley Cup parade, with the Bombers and Riders getting ready to play here this weekend. As big as the Jets have been in the start that they're on right now, the city is abuzz, getting ready here for this West Division Championship coming up this weekend. So it's a fun place to be right now. Sports is right at the top of everybody's water cooler, and both teams are obviously, kind of battling for the front page of the newspaper right now.
Good, right? I love it. I guess my point is, yeah. I'm just wondering if they are thinking they're going to win the Stanley Cup, because a lot of the Jets fans that watch this show think they are. So moving forward to that, you know Kevin Cheveldayoff very well, the general manager. I'm sure you agree with they're going to add. At some point, they're going to add. Do they know yet what they want?
Well, I think we're a long ways away from that, and the 18 players, or maybe 20 if there's been a couple guys in and out of the lineup right now, would probably say, well, we're the best group in the National Hockey League. Why would you make any changes to us? But I think, as we all know, there will be some additions here as the year goes on. I'll admit, I wouldn't have thought, and I think anybody that would say that they're going to be 12-1 through 13 is dead lying to you if you thought that's where they were going to be at this point of the calendar when the regular season began. But, they've done a nice job in winning the games they've needed to. They haven't spent a lot of time on the road. They've been out for some trips, but they've got a pretty daunting schedule coming ahead here where I think we're going to see some challenges for this team. But to be honest with you, I've seen them play some good games, including Toronto and Tampa most recently here downtown over the past week and a half. And they've played extremely well against 2 really good hockey clubs. Toronto most notably more than Tampa. I don't know if I'd say Tampa's going through a rebuild, but they're not the Lightning like they have been over the past decade or so that has been able to put a ring on their finger. So they've played the right way. Adam Lowry's line's been fantastic right now with Nino Niederreiter and Mason Appleton. I can guarantee they are not getting the publicity outside of Winnipeg that they deserve. It might be the best, if you want to call it, third line in the NHL that's out there right now. And, Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, Nikolai Ehlers, Josh Morrissey on the back end, they've had terrific starts to the year.
Well, Munzie, this is why you and I talk about it and aren't GMs. But I mean, last year with the Panthers, when Bill Zito was making all these additions late, like Okposo and Tarasenko and you name it, a lot of guys at the deadline, I'm like, this is too much. And it took them a while to figure it out, but I think we all know how it ended up. I guess my point is, you and I have been doing this a real long time. The GMs are never satisfied. They're always going to add something and then say to the coach, you figure it out. And Paul Maurice did.
Yeah, and I think when you get to, and this might be our next point of conversation right now, is you could go 81-1 through the regular season if you were to run the table all the way through. But if you can't make a playoff run like they haven't been able to do for the last few years now, what does it get you, right? That's kind of where the city is right now. Like, hey, don't get me wrong. Everybody loves going to the rink. Everybody loves to have a winning team. But everybody remembers what happened against Colorado last year in the first round of the playoffs. They got smoked real quick, and it was all over. And I know that is kind of got everybody grinding inside that room to make sure that they're doing the right thing during the regular season. So when they get to the opening round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, that they're playing the way they can to have success, because obviously, like we saw last year, it didn't happen.
Yeah, it's the fuel that burns inside you. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Munzy, I could talk with you about this all day, but I'm fascinated by your social media and the little roadie you went on to Sask. Huge crowd at the Blades game. You seem to enjoy. You and I were like a pimp at a picnic in that place back in the day. Not too welcome, but it looks like you had a good time in the Credit Union Center or whatever the hell they're calling it now.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I will say, and we'll laugh at this, like, I think you and I are both really good friends with Steve Hildebrand and know a number of people. Les Lazaruk's obviously close to our heart. But as former voices of the Raiders, we can't cheer for the Blades, right? Like, that's not the way the world works. But I will say it was awesome going into that building. And I think it's been well documented now that some prices around the WHL are getting out of reach in different markets. But what the Blades have been able to do for that $5 deal, the night I was there, it was $5 for a ticket, $5 for a hamburger, and $5 for a beer. And during the stoppage and play, during the TV timeouts, or media timeouts, because there's no actual television there, they were dropping $5 bills towards kids from their little hot air balloon that would kind of float around the arena. So it was cool. They did a masterful job. They announced about, I think it was 66 or 6,700 people that night. It felt like there was 8,000. And the team played well. They jumped out to an early 3-0 lead. Seattle was there. There's obviously some Western Canadian kids, or Prairie kids, I should say, on the T-Birds that added a little bit of intrigue because it was kind of a one-time regular season stop for them. But it was fantastic. Like, it was a really good atmosphere, and hey, I'll admit it, whether I was in PA or whether I was the voice of the Winnipeg Ice, when you went into Saskatoon, there was never really a lot of excitement in that building, but they've done a tremendous job this year kind of getting that going, and the team's obviously playing really well right now, so it's worked out good. And then, I was able to continue into PA for Bruce Vance's funeral. I was honored to be able to speak at that. Him and I were together back in the early 2000s. Hard to believe, over 20 years ago now, at the same time working with the Raiders, and then went into Nipawin for 3 days for my good friend Greg Clausen, who got his number retired by the Hawks in the SJHL. So it was a fantastic week. It was an emotional roller coaster, I'll admit, but it's always fun to come back.
I'm very happy that you've come on here to relay those stories. Thank you for that. And you and I got to put our heads together and figure out a way to say this. We want the Blades to win, but we're not cheering for them. I don't know how you say that, but that's where we're at. But I know you'll be cheering for the Huskies because you were the voice of the Huskies. So a lot of exciting things going on in sports right now. Munzy, this has been good, man. Keep in touch.
Absolutely, Rod. Take care.